Okay, let's talk about the disincentive effects now. So obviously redistribution has not only arguments in its favor, but also arguments against it. And as already Rawls sensed, redistribution is limited by the difference principle. So differences in income distribution are still tolerated as long as they benefit the poor. If the poor get poorer only because, but the income inequality is now equal, but everyone gets poorer, then there was too much redistribution. So, sometimes I like to think about countries that have very aggressively instituted certain policies to promote more equality. You think of many Latin American countries, again, that have developed, socialist episodes. And then very often those socialist episodes, they ultimately collapsed because initially many countries in Latin America, they had, let's say, a right-wing government, and there was lots of income inequality. So then the poor voted for a socialist government, and then the socialist government ruined the economy to the extent that all the rich, they left the country and went to Miami. So now everyone is very poor, but there are no differences anymore in income inequality. So that level of redistribution is, then also not particularly useful. And then after those socialist episodes, very often you see again a right-winger government coming back to power if there is another democratic election, which of course many countries, once a socialist regime was implemented, don't see anymore. So in summary again, as Rawls already saw, redistribution is somewhat limited by what he called the difference principle, and therefore any difference in incomes is legitimized if any further redistribution would discourage economic activity and reduce overall output and income. And obviously, generally, the more the rich will be taxed to redistribute income to the poor, the more incentives the rich will have to stop producing at all. But also at the same time, the more income is being redistributed from the rich to the poor, the less incentives the poor have to increase their own output. So in sum, redistribution has disincentive effects on both sides of the income spectrum, the rich and the poor.